There's a chill in the air, the wind blows gently, the leaves rustle and move. The night is dark and the moon is full. A dog barks in the distance. A cat yowls to herald the coming night. Lights go on at every house. It's almost the witching hour. Then they appear, all manner of ghosts, witches, and goblins. I hear their screams and shrill laughter. The doorbell rings. Do I answer? Do I dare? What will await me if I do? The doorbell persists. I take a chance. My eyes are wide, and a refrain rings out. Trick or treat, it's Halloween night. 100 scary skeletons rose from their stony beds, a clattering their chatterbones, a rattling their heads. Many a dreary year they've been, lay deep in dankness there, until one night at Halloween they thought they'd take the air. So up they creaked with groans and moans, and danced a jig or two, while through their scattered chatterbones the evening breezes blew. But what a noise of knocking knees and crack of head on head came wafting on the midnight breeze, enough to wake the dead. So tonight I'm doing something extra fun and spooky. I'm going on a ghost tour at one of the most haunted places apparently in America, the Lemp Mansion here in St. Louis. It has underground tunnels throughout the city, all sorts of spooky history. Don't know what I will be able to share. Probably can't film anything on the tour, I would assume, but I will share what I can. So it is the next day. I'm gonna fold some laundry here, and I thought I would tell you about last night and a little bit about the tour, what we did. I think the last clip was me saying I was going on the Lemp Mansion tour, the ghost tour. It was great. I slept with a light on in my room last night. I was spooked, to say the least. Rip wasn't here. We went to dinner for a friend's birthday downtown and then went to this tour. So I was gone for about 6 hours. And so my dad ended up keeping Rip for me, which was really, really nice. And then he spent the night at my dad's. So when I came home, Rip wasn't here. The house was quiet. I was already kind of freaked out just from the tour itself. Yeah, I was spooked. So I'm not going to go into full detail, obviously, because we would be here all day and I don't know all the specifics about this family, but the Lemps were a family who started this brewery in St. Louis, and it eventually went out of business because you had big guys like Anheuser that came in, and obviously Anheuser-Busch is the very big brewery in St. Louis. So Lemp Brewery is no longer in business, but this family, the Lemps, lived in this big mansion house all together. It's a beautiful home. I did take a picture on just the outside. We did not go inside. You can go inside. It is a venue. It is a bed and breakfast. It is a restaurant. We actually tried to get reservations to eat there, but they were full. The Lemp Mansion is one of the most haunted places in America. You can book overnight stays there. There's a lot of paranormal activity. that happens there. Really spooky stuff. So essentially, one of the reasons it is so haunted is that I think 4 members of the Lemp family died, 3 of them being in that house from like suicide, even though one of the members, I think he said they think it was murder, not suicide. But in any case, many of the family members have died in that house. And it's a beautiful, beautiful home, but there's a lot of paranormal activity there. There's a nursery area that apparently they keep completely locked off, that nobody's allowed to go in there because they have had a lot of experiences in there. And they showed a really creepy photo. I don't have the photo, obviously, but I'll see if I can find it online and post it here, of somebody kind of standing into the door of the nursery. Also, some shadow figures, a woman in white at the top of the stairs. Just very haunted. And some of these are photos from guests. Some of these are photos from like paranormal investigators that have been there. One of my friends was like, we should try to stay the night sometime. So I don't know if we'll ever really do that or not. But it took me 31 years of living in St. Louis to even go do this tour, which is kind of crazy for me. Another part of the tour was down kind of below the brewery. So a really creepy part about this, and kind of interesting in itself, is all of the Lemp buildings and a lot of St. Louis is connected by underground tunnels. And you can go down, like it's a cave system and tunnels underneath street level. And so back in the day, people were able to go from building to building without ever coming up to the street or coming outside. You were all underground. Well, those tunnels still exist. You can imagine they are daft and dank and dark, very, very spooky, and not super structurally sound probably. But we did go down into some areas of the tunnels, and at one point he turned off all the lights. So we were down in the tunnel in the dark. He showed us one of the spookiest pictures I've ever seen. And this is where I get to think, like, these people are making stuff up. Like, this can't be real. You're showing me these images in order to evoke a feeling about this tour and about this place. But I'm gonna put the picture up here that he showed. We were standing right at this spot when he showed this picture, and there are like trail cams, motion detected, like night trail cams down in the tunnels and in the caves to see if people go down there. There are entrances on the street that I think if you know St. Louis well, you know how to get into them. So obviously they monitor for that type of activity. Well, one night apparently the trail cam went off, and when he showed this picture and we were standing right there, my jaw dropped. I was like, okay, that is so creepy. And I feel like it can't be real, right? I don't know. I struggle with what are true images that people have seen and what are they wanting you to believe in order to evoke a response, right? We went into a couple different areas of the tunnels, and he talked about murders, serial killers, and where some victims' bodies were held and everything. So some really, really sad stuff there. A lot of history that I just didn't know. Jack the Ripper, one of the 2 main suspects. Apparently there was two main people that are considered to have been Jack the Ripper. You know, one of the 2 of them. And the one spent a good majority of time in St. Louis. And so we talked about murders that happened in St. Louis during that time. and this man who is potentially maybe Jack the Ripper, and just the ties to Jack the Ripper in St. Louis. So that was really interesting. Yeah, just a lot of really spooky, scary things, but we had a great time. It was a wonderful dinner. It was one of my friend's birthdays yesterday, so it was nice to be able to hang out with her and have a nice dinner with her. But I have the Exorcist house here in St. Louis, so if you are familiar with The Exorcist, the movie, the little boy that story is based on lived here in St. Louis, and so you can drive up to the house if you want to. He was exorcised supposedly at SLU Hospital, St. Louis University Hospital. So lots of spooky history. Really interesting though. I had a really good time. So just wanted to share the couple of pictures and some of the stories from the night.